When multiplying exponential expressions, we're going to follow the same procedure as we had before. We're going to take the coefficients and multiply them by each other first. So this would be 4 times 2. And then we would take the exponents and multiply them by each other. X to the third times x to the sixth. 4 times 2 is 8. When we multiply exponents, multiplication is repeated addition, so we're going to add the exponents. That would be 8x to the 9th power. Some students will prefer to just do these in their head. I strongly suggest that you write them out in terms of expanding all the factors, because as they get a little more complicated, this is going to help you stay organized. Likewise here, the two coefficients are -3 and 5. So we would take -3 times 5 first, and then multiply that by t to the 4th power, and then t to the 3rd power. -3 times 5, again, this is a -3. I probably should have put that in parentheses because it's a negative. And -3 times 5 would be -15. And again, since multiplication is repeated addition, when we multiply exponential expressions, we add the exponents. So this would be t to the 7th power. So -15 t to the 7th. Again, some students will just go mentally and do these in their head. I strongly suggest that you write them out to catch and prevent mistakes like I just did. Next, here we may have fractional coefficients, but the process is identical. For the fractions, we're going to take -2 sevenths, and notice how I put the negative sign in my numerator. It doesn't matter where the negative is, whether it's in the numerator, in the denominator, or out in front of the fraction. But when you're multiplying, I prefer to keep it in the numerator, because when we deal with slope in algebra, I like to be able to have the negative up there as well. So I want to stay consistent. We'll take the first coefficient of -2 sevenths and multiply it by the second coefficient of 7/8, and then we'll handle the exponents, or the variable terms with their exponents in alphabetical order. When multiplying these two fractions, note that one has a numerator of 7 and one has a denominator of 7, so they will cancel each other out, so there's no need to actually do the multiplication of -2 times 7 or 7 times 8. We're multiplying each the numerator and the denominator by 7, so we don't need to really do that at all, because 7 divided by 7 is 1. So this will really be -2/8, which simplifies to -1/4. And now when I rewrote the fraction, I put the negative out front just like it was here. That's just a way to be consistent. A to the 4th times a to the 7th. Again, multiplication is repeated addition, so when I'm multiplying exponential expressions with the same base, I'm going to add the exponents. So this process would simplify into -1/4 a to the 11th power.